Oh, hey there! Nicholas Burling here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing what this artwork behind me is. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you've been seeing me sitting in front of it, and I haven't talked about what it is, why I do it, and that's what today's video is going to be about. I am not feeling nearly as depressed as I was in those last two food videos that I put out, so I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something that is somewhat trans related, somewhat mental health related, and talk about how art helps with all of this. So this is my art wall. It stretches all the way along one side of my living room, and every single one of these pieces has some kind of meaning to it. So I made a lot of drawings when I was a kid, a lot of car drawings because I really wanted to be a car designer when I was a kid. Just making things in general was something I really wanted to do. That's why I'm in construction. It's why I love doing artwork and crafts. You can see Beyblades were popular when I was doing these drawings. And this is kind of when I started getting into the type of art that I do now. This is an incomplete drawing. I'm not entirely sure why I didn't complete that, but this was sort of the start of the abstract art. This, funnily enough, was the playground at my elementary school. This is when I started getting into floor plans, and this would probably be around grade 9, I believe, when I was getting into floor plans. So I would go up to people and ask them if they would allow me to design a house for them. I'd ask them what they were looking for and they would tell me, and then I would build them a floor plan, elevations, that sort of thing based on what they'd said. These are kind of funny because everything was drawn to scale, but I didn't have a proper ruler, so the scale would be something like 1 centimeter equals a foot, or, you know, all sorts of different scales that were based off of my school agenda ruler, which was in metric, and all of the numbers that I knew as far as being able to think about what something looked like were in imperial. There we go. So I believe this was the first drawing that I did, which was the kind of artwork that I do now. And it's just based off of a lot of rulers and stencils and things like that. And then you alternate, you know, black and white, black and white. And I think I used some grayscale here as well. There's another one. They didn't really have a lot of meaning at this point in time. They were just sort of fun things to do. And I also didn't quite have it figured out how to make everything come together. So you can see there's white next to white, for instance. You can see here, these are all stencils. This one here is a stencil that you use for just making various little circles and shapes. This one here is that actual agenda ruler that I was talking about. Here's a little cap gun that I had at the time. Lots of different things that you can find hidden. Oh, that's a USB stick right there, it looks like. So you can look around and see all sorts of different things. You can see those are some tweezers. You can see here I have some cards that I'm working on for Christmas. I make people cards every year. I have some old sketchbooks that I still go to. I've started experimenting with using my art style on top of pictures and using the pictures, so this would be sort of a white section, this might be a dark section, which would mean this would be a dark section as well, so you actually incorporate the image. These are some of the drawings I'm working on at the moment, so I'm quite happy with how this one turned out. This one here is a different art style that I'm playing with. And then when you go up here, this one is supposed to be a seed that's coming out of the ground. I don't remember everything and the meaning behind it. I always think about it in the moment, but then that drawing becomes whatever I want it to be, whatever it means to me at a later date. And some of them are more just drawing shapes and having fun with it, but some of them definitely have more meaning. Even under my table here I have drawings. So you can see here, this one is a mountain scene and just a few different things. I found out you don't really want to use metallics when you're coloring on this. This is wood that I use, so it's cabinet backer primarily, which I used to pick up at IKEA, but they've stopped putting this in their section for as is. This one here is the trans flag, you can see. This one is my sort of pride and trans rainbow colors here. And this one up above. I really like this one, which is just some flowers in a yard. This one is supposed to be a naked woman in front of a bed. And again, more trans and pride colors in this one here. That one wall does not make up the only drawings in my living room. You can see here some framed ones. This one has the map of Newfoundland in it, and that red piece right there, that tiny little dot, is Fogo Island in Newfoundland, which is one of my favorite places. This one over here is a piece of architecture. It's a building that's in there with a reflection in the water. And this one over here, you can see the trans symbol as well as the symbol for pi. Drawing is just something that I've done for a very long time. I started in elementary school. I'm not good at drawing things freehand, like faces. Scenery I'm a little bit better at, but even so, I love drawing things with rulers. I love using interesting shapes, and I'm just playing around with my art style and growing it as I go. But one of the things that I love to do is to take an image and make it abstract. So if someone is hiring me to make a drawing, for instance, I can take a picture that they have or an idea that they have, put that onto this board, this piece of wood that I make my drawings with, and I can then create my design over that. And when I go and color it in, where I do these alternating white, black, or using a variety of different colors, I can then create something that people are going to hopefully enjoy, hopefully have to search for the image. It's not immediately apparent, but there are all sorts of hidden meanings within these drawings. I also don't necessarily have to make it abstract. Sometimes people like the drawings to look exactly as they are, but I still like to have fun with it. I still like to incorporate my style. So when someone commissioned me to make a drawing earlier this year, they wanted one that was based on COVID and one that was based off of British Columbia here specifically. So I made this one, and this one here is kind of hard to see with the light shining off it, but this is the COVID virus itself, and then it says, "Be kind, be calm, be safe." Those are the words that our health officer here in British Columbia used at the beginning of the pandemic. So that was something I was commissioned to recreate earlier in the year. This is my copy, but the person who I made it for, I did a different version. I don't like to make the same thing twice. But regardless, I make these drawings whether someone's hiring me to do it or not, because it's something that I just love to do. It's something I've always loved to do. It makes me feel at peace. I can just sit down and draw for 12 hours straight, look up and go, geez, where did the day go? And that's just because I will put on an audiobook, or I'll put on a TV show in the background, something like that, and I'll just zone out and draw. And it's how I take my mind off of everything that's going on in my life. Whenever I'm feeling depressed or anxious, something like that, and I will try to motivate myself to draw because I feel so much better when I do it. And as an LGBTQ2+ person, I like to be able to bring my identity to the work that I'm creating, which is why behind me you can see a number of different art pieces that are related to the fact that I'm trans and the fact that I'm a lesbian. And that's sort of how this video ties into both my trans identity, my lesbian identity, and also to my being an artist and dealing with mental health issues. So this sort of represents a lot of what I bring to you on the channel, and it's part of the reason I decided to make this my art wall. This has taken me a long time to create all of this art. Each of these pieces usually will take me about 20 hours to complete, and it might be difficult to tell by looking at them because they don't look huge, but there's so much detail involved in them, and making sure that all those little corners, your pen doesn't go over the line, that kind of thing. As much as it might seem very simplistic to say color within the lines, it's a lot harder said than done, even as someone who's been doing it for a long time. So this kind of art does take a while, but also because it's wood, it requires a fair amount of ink. So I use Sharpies on the wood in order to color it, and I can make them in a variety of different shapes. So as you saw with this COVID drawing here, this is not a straight line, right? I took a board, I ripped it, and I just like having the appearance of not everything being square. This art wall is obviously all square because I wanted everything to line up with itself, but that's not all that I do. I love to experiment with different mediums, and I love to just do what I did with all of those drawings when I was a kid, where I was asking people to give me an idea for a house and I would design it for them. With these, if someone wants to hire me to make a drawing, they can give me a general idea and then I can just roll with it, and I will be allowed my artistic freedom, but I can also make something that speaks to this person. And I like to have confines, I like to have rules in the drawings that I make, because I find it sort of interesting to try to be as creative as possible within the confines of certain rules. So whenever I'm making a drawing, I'll set my own rules and I'll stick within them, but I will also do that if someone else wants to set the rules. And I'll also occasionally just have a tiny little piece of the drawing, like you saw with that Fogo Island drawing, where it's just the one island that's red, where I'll break a rule because I want to highlight something. So that happens in some of these drawings as well. Now, I wanted to make this video because I want to share my art with you. I want to share the reason why this is my background, share this piece of me, and also explain what I've been doing a lot of recently, because I've been spending so much time dealing with depression over the last few months. I've been doing a ton of drawing. That's something I wanted to share with you, but I also wanted to share it because if this is something that you're interested in, I highly encourage you to take up art yourself. It can be very therapeutic, and if you're not an artistic person yourself, just find something therapeutic for you that will get you through that depression, that anxiety, whatever other mental health issue you might be dealing with. If you're interested in some of my art, I don't know that I want to sell anything that you actually saw here today. I'm quite passionate about the pieces, but if you are interested in one of them, let me know. I'll see if I'm willing to part with it. But if you want to commission me to make something, I am absolutely open to that. So please let me know. I'm not working much at the moment. I was recently laid off from my job, and I've just been piecing together little bits of work here and there. So if I can do something that I love to do as part of my work, that's something I'm really striving for, particularly in my 30s as I try to figure out the career path that I want to take and what it is that I love doing. I know I love drawing, so if I can make that a part of my work in any way, that's something I would love to do. If you're interested in commissioning a drawing, please mention that down in the comments below and we can reach out. You can go to my website, nicolaspurling.me. I'm working on this website. I'm trying to get it updated, but there is a contact form through there, so you can reach me that way as well. You can reach me through any of my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and that's where I'm going to end this video. I would love to hear from you. I would love it if you'd commission my work. I've started adding PayPal information to my YouTube videos as well, if you look in the description, and the reason for that is that this content is not cheap to make. I spend a lot of time making this content as well, and I don't do it for money, but it would certainly help me to put out much better content and content that you would love to see. So let me know what you'd like to see, and if you'd like to contribute to my videos, that PayPal link is for that. That money isn't being spent in any way other than on these videos. You can rest assured of that. Again, check the description for that. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more of it, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon so you get notified every time I post a new video. And until next time, have a great day.